Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Superfan Games, and today we have the closed beta for World of Tank Heats. And this is the new title by Wargaming. Everyone is a little excited about it, so am I. Uh, Honestly, I thought initially that it would be something like uh, Armored Warfare. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of that game. You have Armored Warfare, wherein they have modern tanks. The hit mechanic or something, I think it resembles more or less like World of Tanks. So I was expecting that when I went into my first battle. But I think Wargaming did surprise me in a positive way. So here we are quickly jumping into a battle, but we end up in a hiccup because, of course, it is a closed beta and it is supposed to happen. The game crashed, but then I logged in again, and the best part was I started off from the next round. Now this one here is a heavy tank, as we can see, and here the good thing is you got a couple of consumables along with the normal game. So here, if you were to check. So the tank that I have, I think it's some version of M1 Abrams. So here you get a APS, which is Active Protection System. If you press the F key, it blocks a few shots and then it goes off. And then you have T. T is a minigun. You see the minigun on the top? That's that gets to fire when you press the button T. And hey, you can see that we are having good time. This is absolutely my first game, my first battle. So I don't have any idea how it works or how good or how bad it is. But then here one thing that I liked was the graphics, absolutely fantastic. So I have everything set up to the absolute maximum. In terms of a graphics card, I have a 1360. I'm sorry, I have a 3060, which is a 12 GB graphics card. It's doing fairly good. The FPS is about 55, 60, drops to a 40, but then I think it is very much playable. Uh, this game, in my first 2 minutes of interaction with it, it felt like it's like a modern shooter, but with vehicles. So the gameplay is a little fast paced. Comparing it to World of Tanks, I don't think so. That would be fair because here you have a lot of modern element. Like right now, I'm being targeted by drone. So it took me quite some time to understand that I have to get out of that zone so that the drone stops targeting me. But then, since it was my first battle, uh, I was little overwhelmed. All right, now over to the gameplay. Feels good in a heavy tank. I can take a few shells, and I can take out a couple of enemies here, and it is good. One thing that I loved about it was the R key. I'm sure I'll press it sometime, not very effectively, but then in the testing, I used it and it was absolutely amazing. So in the gameplay, not this one, but in the latest series, I'll show you how effective that R key is. So now what it does, it calls in external artillery. When we talk about artillery, I'm talking about MLRS. Okay, so I think we're almost there, and this one is going to be a win because me and the teammates are doing absolutely good. And here, if you were to check, along with the three key players, so another thing in this mode, you only have three players to work together, and apart from that, you do get some NPCs, and they help you with it. And you have a few features like wherein they'll kill electronics. To be fair, overall a good game. I think they have a lot to fix. When I say a lot to fix, I mean to say they need to work on, first of all, I think the FPS. I think the game is using too much of resources. And along with that, I think they would have to adjust the pace a little. People who have been playing games for a long time, they can understand this, but for a younger or average player base, I think you'll have to tone it down a little. Maybe bring in some difficulty features, or maybe it has some difficulty features which I'm not aware of. I'll explore the game further. So talking about my World of Tanks experience, I think prior to World of Warships getting launched, I think I played about 31,000 battles in it. Yeah, I think 31,000 battles I have in World of Tanks. So I was really excited. All right. So now the round one is over. Now we'll head to the round two. This one would be a desert kind of a map. And we're getting deployed. So here you have quite a few vehicles. You have tank destroyers, you have IFVs, and you have the infantry. I'm sorry, you have the infantry fighting vehicles, you have the tank destroyers, plus you have a couple of autocannons. So you have a few options that you can play along with. I think initial suggestions till the time you don't understand the game completely when it gets released. Uh, Everybody, even I think the same. Stick to a heavier option because that gives you some time to adjust. All right. Now, okay. I just bumped my team member because I want to move forward and help my team. Shall I go forward and I try and engage the tanks? And you're doing a good job here. I think I'll get more familiar with the how to use the consumables more accurately. Another thing is the way you interact with the environment has improved. Now you see those tank traps. When you touch those tank traps, they lose HP. And I'm sure if you would shoot at them, they would lose HP. So it works out really well. Also, Wreck has HP too. So you have to ram it or you have to shoot at it for it to disappear. So I think overall Wargaming has done a very decent job in terms of the overall gameplay. As I mentioned, I think difficulty is something that needs to be adjusted for an average player to enjoy it. And this aspect, I think this aspect wherein they have a lot of NPCs that you have to play against and play with, I think that gives you a little bit more option, or rather, I would say, a little bit more room to play, and it becomes a little more forgiving than World of Tanks. Now, here you see me using the artillery and see how good it works. Now, for the next 30 seconds, any enemy that appears in that zone would get hit by artillery shells. And in most cases, it is a kill. So, an absolute winner of a situation. Now, you see the amount of HP that heavy tank lost. That's crazy. If it would have been something which would be like uh, this tank destroyer, it would have been completely obliterated. Yes. So now you can see that artillery support has done its job, and we were successful in defending B, I think. Okay, I think two more vehicles left. Since I was not a part of the first round, so we would end up winning this. But then overall, this focuses more on team play than personal glories. So if your team is not doing a good job and you're not helping them, you will not end up winning. So overall, a very good job done by Wargaming. I'm sure we can expect a lot from this game. And as you can see here, so I did about 3200 damage, and something similar is what my team members did. And this is how the post-war screen looks, which is, I think, a lot different than what you see in World of Tanks. So overall, good first impressions. I'll be playing a couple of more games for next 2 days and see how it works out. But then overall, a fantastic approach by the team here. Something new for me to play. Now I'm trying to just check how can you improve your tank. So here I'm just trying to see if I can add something. So I can improve my secondary armaments. I'm sure I can improve my primaries as well. But then that's for me to explore. So this was my initial 15-20 minutes of gameplay. Nothing. nothing too deep, but overall it was an amazing experience. So I'm sure I'll play more of World of Tanks Heat and I'll publish more content on it. Stay tuned. I hope you have an amazing day and thank you for being on my channel.